Listen to this statement and tell me if it makes sense. Brazilian Ronaldo is considered by many to be the greatest player to ever play the game. His prime wasn't very long, but at his peak, he was surely one of the best you'll ever see. Now, if you were to ask Benzema, Henry, and many other pundits, which Ronaldo is better, they'll all choose R9. We'll get back to this in a second, but let's take a look at Henry, who is considered by many to be the greatest Premier League player of all time. One of the big arguments that people make is that Henry played in the league at his peak longer, while Cristiano only had 2 years in his prime. And for them, this is what makes Henry the better Premier League player. But let's go back to R9 for a bit. Cristiano has 900 plus goals, 5 Ballon d'Ors, and his prime lasted over 15 years. But R9, whose prime lasted about 5 years and achieved less, is considered better than him. So for them, it's clear that longevity and accomplishments doesn't matter when choosing who is better. Now, if we use the logic that people use when choosing R9 over Cristiano, including the eye test, wouldn't it mean that Ronaldo was actually better than Henry? Because longevity shouldn't matter now, should it? In 2008, Ronaldo had 50 goals, while Henry's best season saw him score 39. Ronaldo won the Ballon d'Or, something that Henry never won. And not to mention, he won more titles at United than Henry ever did at Arsenal, plus individual awards. And he did this at 23, by the way. But instead, look at what people have to say about him.
The big debate for me was Ronaldo or Salah. What you've got to factor in is Cristiano Ronaldo came as a very young boy. Man United were a team you think win the league. That's what they're supposed to do. His goal scoring and assist record is a lot better than Cristiano Ronaldo's in the Premier League.
Who's the best Premier League player you've ever seen then?
For like a good 5 years, Thierry was the king.
So, as you can see, longevity goals and accomplishments only matter when they want to downplay Ronaldo. And this is just one of the ways they downplay his abilities. It's clear to me that people don't really understand how good Ronaldo was at United. And that's what this video is about. We're going to cover his entire career from 2003 to 2009 in order to really grasp how good he was in the Premier League.
What about this? Half an hour to go. Hold onto your hat.
On August 16th, 2003, Ronaldo made his Premier League debut for Manchester United against Bolton, coming on as a substitute for Nicky Butt. At the time, no one knew what to expect. But in just a few minutes of him on the pitch, the footballing world had its first glimpse of greatness. He tormented the Bolton players with his quick feet and trickery, immediately winning a penalty. But he wasn't done yet. Picking up the ball on the left, he charged at the defense, firing in a cross to Paul Scholes, leading to a goal. Moments later, he whipped in a beautiful cross from the far side, and Ruud van Nistelrooy was inches away from scoring. At this point, United was already up 4-0, but Ronaldo continued to put on a show, mesmerizing the crowd and capping off his debut with an unforgettable performance just days after signing for the club. For the next few games, he was mostly used as a sub, coming off the bench to entertain the fans. To be honest, watching him back then, it was clear that he was something special, technical, explosive, and an aura of confidence. Yet, there was one thing missing, and that was his end product. Since 1998, Manchester United and Arsenal had dominated the league, with Arsenal winning 2 league titles and United winning 4 in the past 6 years. And on September 21st, Ronaldo would face his biggest test yet, his first start in a clash against the king of English football, Thierry Henry. Henry led Arsenal to the title in 2002, scoring a staggering 64 goals over the past 2 seasons. And in 2003, he was on a mission to dethrone United as champions. But could the up-and-coming Ronaldo steal his spotlight? From the moment the match kicked off, chaos erupted. These two teams were packed with world-class talents, so it was hard for any one player to stand out. Ronaldo got the ball out wide, and immediately 4 Arsenal players closed him down. But he won a free kick. Giggs then whipped it in, hitting the post, and just like that, game on. Ronaldo went one-on-one against Ashley Cole, only to be fouled again. Another free kick, another dangerous cross from Giggs, but Van Nistelrooy fired over the bar. Having no choice, Henry then decided to step up, driving the ball forward from beyond the halfway line, setting up Cole, who almost finished. But like I said earlier, this match was complete chaos, and later on, Vieira would get a controversial red card. Moments later, United was awarded a controversial penalty, and to top it off, Ruud would end up missing the penalty, and the match ended in a goalless draw. But at full time, a huge fight erupted. To be honest, this was what football was all about, the passion and hunger of the players and the desire to win. Back then, the game was just peak. Speaking of peak, these are the types of videos I'll be giving to you guys weekly, so please help me out by liking the video and subscribing so we can make fans around the world relive the best football moments in history. I appreciate you watching. Ronaldo didn't have it easy after the match against Arsenal, being benched for the following 2 games. To be honest, the fact that he was even in the team was an accomplishment in itself, because this United squad was the best team in England and one of the best in the world, and you have to remember he was only 18. But Ferguson's faith in Ronaldo was about to pay off on match day 11 against Portsmouth. United was up 1-0, but were under heavy pressure from Portsmouth, and with 15 minutes to go, Sir Alex decided to sub in Ronaldo to give him another shot. Seconds after coming on, Ronaldo took the ball out wide and dribbled at the defense, but like so many times before, his finishing would keep letting him down. United would win a free kick in the 79th minute, and Giggs, who's the usual set-piece taker, gave the ball to Ronaldo.
I think he'll claim that. Cristiano Ronaldo's first goal for United.
And just like that, Ronaldo had his first United goal, a huge moment in the history of the sport, and he'd get his first assist as well from a throw-in. However, the celebrations were cut short for Ronaldo. He was benched again against Liverpool the following week, and since the day he scored his first goal, Ronaldo wouldn't have another goal involvement again till December 26th. That's 7 weeks after, and for the rest of the season, he'd only contribute 5 goals and 6 assists, finishing with a total of 6 goals and 8 assists. But the real kicker was the fact that Arsenal would end up winning the league that year without a single defeat, and had 15 points more than United, with Henry having 30 goals, something Cristiano could only dream about.
His mindset at the beginning when he came was, I'm here to entertain people. This is what it seemed from looking in. I'm here to entertain the crowd, and he loved it. He loved doing skills, wanting to show people what he could do, which was great.
Like Ferdinand said, Ronaldo back then was more focused on showing the world how good he was on the ball. So, for the 2004/2005 season, you are going to get a glimpse of how deadly Cristiano was on the ball. When you talk about speed, skills, trickery, and endless energy, Ronaldo was humiliating everyone. Even if he didn't score an assist, he would still be the best player on the pitch. The first order of business was to get Portugal to the 2006 World Cup, and Latvia was the first opponent standing in his way. He went out there and put on a show, scoring and assisting in the process. The next victim was Estonia, where he scored and assisted twice. Against Russia, he had 2 goals and an assist, and he'd go on to put up 7 goals and 6 assists in all qualifier matches as a 19-year-old. Back in Manchester, it was no different. He might not have been scoring as much, but if you asked 80% of the stadium who they came to watch, they'd all say Ronaldo because he was putting on a show, and the main event was going to be on February 1st, 2005. United traveled to Arsenal to play the most heated game in England. These two teams hated each other. Henry, like I said before, was the big man in the league, but Ronaldo was slowly stealing his spotlight, and today he wanted to prove a point. So let me set the stage for you. Before the match, Roy Keane and Vieira almost started fighting, and when they went onto the pitch, Henry assisted Vieira 8 minutes into the match. 10 minutes later, Giggs would fire United level with a volley from the edge of the box. However, Henry was causing massive trouble up top, and he would set up Bergkamp for Arsenal's second goal. Up to this point, Ronaldo wasn't having a good game, with the fans even mocking him when he lost the ball. But if there's one thing we know in football, it's not to taunt Ronaldo. Almost instantly, Giggs would slide the ball out left, and Ronaldo fired a thumping left-footed shot into the net. But he wasn't done. 4 minutes later, he would tap in at the back post to shut every single Arsenal fan up.
3-2!
In the end, the match ended 4-2, and Ronaldo managed to prove his point that, hey, you might be the best player right now, but I'm coming for that title. He would then go on to put up 4 goals and 3 assists in the FA Cup to lead United to the finals, but would lose on penalties to the Gunners. And not just there, but United would also lose out on the Carabao Cup and the Champions League to Chelsea and Milan, and would finish 3rd in the league. It wasn't the most successful season for Ronaldo, but he managed to put up 16 goals, 14 assists for club and country at 19, which was very impressive in that era of football.
É fantástico. Fico muito orgulhoso pelo feito daquelas condições.
The 2005 sixth season was one of the worst seasons for Ronaldo. That year, his father passed away in September of 2005, leaving Cristiano and his family devastated. Throughout this period, Sir Alex did all he could to help the 20-year-old Ronaldo get over his grief, while also encouraging him to focus on his football. But the 2005-6 campaign was a disastrous one. United didn't make it out their Champions League group, nor could they progress in the FA Cup, and they lost the league title to Chelsea again. Ronaldo, however, managed to help lead them to the Carabao Cup trophy by scoring in the finals. But there was something else he had his eye on, and that was the 2006 World Cup trophy, because deep in his heart, he wanted to make his father and the people of Portugal proud. In the first match against Angola, you could see him giving it his all, but each time he surged forward, there was no end product to his plays. But that wouldn't stop him as he continued to put on a show for the crowd, even hitting the post on one occasion, and it appeared that woke him up, as minutes later he would appear in the box again with a thumping shot. He would eventually be subbed off in the 60th minute to put an end to an impressive World Cup debut. In the second match against Iran, Ronaldo would bag his first ever World Cup goal from the spot, and you could see how emotional he was. This goal was for the people of Portugal, but also it was a tribute to his father. Throughout the rest of the campaign, Ronaldo played a crucial role in bringing Portugal to the semi-finals, but luck wouldn't be on their side as they went down to France 1-0. Throughout this whole tournament, Ronaldo proved himself to the world. He was quick, skilled, technical, and had everything required to be the best player on the planet, but his finishing was his biggest weakness. What good is it to have all these traits, but you still cannot produce when it matters the most? So from this moment on, playtime was over. Ronaldo pledged to work harder and smarter in order to learn the art of scoring goals, and so it began. Between July, when the World Cup ended, and August, which was the start of the league, Ronaldo embarked on a journey where he trained vigorously every day in order to improve his efficiency. The season would kickstart on August 20th against Fulham, and it was now time to put his training to use. It was clear early on into the match that his game was changing, because when he got the ball out wide, he started to make link-up plays and made runs into the box as opposed to always dribbling. He was also learning to read the defense and position himself into these empty pockets of spaces, but more importantly, he was getting more deadlier in front of goal. In the following 4 matches, Ronaldo would fail to register a goal, but if you watch closely, you could see him actually perfecting his craft. He was getting into the box more often, but the fact that he was a winger and he had to drop deep most of the time, it was preventing him from actually getting on the end of chances. He tried to carry the ball on many occasions and score himself, but he hadn't yet found his range. But on match week 6 against Reading, we'd see him score a goal that would become his signature move. Get the ball out wide, cut inside, and hit a powerful knuckle shot low towards the far post. In his next match, he was played on the right, mostly dropping deep and getting crosses in, but his anticipation had improved, as you can see when he got himself into the space to score his 3rd goal of the season. Slowly and steadily, Ronaldo was improving his end product, and there was a period where he scored a brace in 3 consecutive games, and by May 2007, he had a total of 17 Premier League goals and 8 assists, being crowned champion of England for the first time since his arrival at the club. In the Champions League, he was sensational, carrying United to the semi-finals with 5 assists and 3 goals, even managing to finish 2nd in the Ballon d'Or rankings, which was actually incredible, because just a few months ago, he was known as a 20-year-old dribbler without any end product. But in the short space of a couple months, he worked hard and became the 2nd best player in the world. Ronaldo finished the season with 23 goals and 14 assists in total, but with only 1 trophy to show for it, his resolve still remained the same. He needed to do better if he wanted to make sure that his team would be able to win the big trophies. And with that in mind, it was back to the training pitch in order to perfect his killer instincts. And so began the great season of 2008. Despite how good 2008 was, the beginning of the season was literally a disaster for Ronaldo. The league kicked off on August 12th, 2007, and United struggled to score a single goal against Reading. Ronaldo was pretty average in that game, but in the second game, he absolutely lost it and got himself sent off as they struggled again against another mediocre team in Portsmouth. He was given a 3-match ban, and City would beat United 1-0 the following week, making it 2 draws and 1 loss in 3 games. For the next 2 games, United would carve out 2 1-0 wins against Tottenham and Sunderland. And when Ronaldo returned, it still wasn't happening for him, as they scraped through to beat Everton 1-0. For Cristiano, this was 3 games without a goal or an assist, and missing 3 games through suspension made it 6 weeks without a goal contribution in the league. But Ronaldo was working hard off the pitch. Last season, he practiced and honed his craft, scoring 20 goals for the first time in his career. But for the next game against Chelsea, he would need things to start working, because Chelsea was the main obstacle for United, having won 2 of the last 3 league titles. The match was an epic contest, but it would also highlight one of Ronaldo's biggest problems in the United system. He was always dropping deep and always out wide, and because he was a threat, he always had 2 players closing him down. This made it almost impossible to cut in and get a shot off, and he wasn't able to come central to receive the ball and finish because of the role Ferguson gave him. And also, with the physicality and the quality of the league, it was hard for him to carry the ball past 3-4 defenders then finish, so he came up with a plan. Instead of dropping too deep and going too wide, how about I let someone else carry the ball and I'll stick closely to the last defender. That way I can pounce on errors and also break forward to be in the box when crosses arrive. The next game against Birmingham, his plan was an instant success. He remained up top, close to the defenders, and forced an error, leading to his first league goal of the season. The second match was the same. He remained forward, trusting his teammates to carry the ball, and got himself into the box to score, not once, but twice. And just like that, he figured out a way to score more goals. He was still playing as a winger, but on a few occasions, he would anticipate when to get forward and seize the moment. After that terrible start, Ronaldo was now finding his rhythm, and the world would witness the single greatest performance ever from a Premier League player. From 7 matches without a goal, Ronaldo would go on to score 8 goals in his next 7 games. He scored every week from November 3rd to December 8th until he drew a blank against Liverpool. But unlike before, when he used to have a good goal-scoring run, then he would have droughts and then struggled to pick up goals here and there. Ronaldo's perception of the game improved so much that the longest he ever went without a league goal was 2 weeks, since he scored his first goal against Birmingham on match week 8. After that blank against Liverpool, he went on to score 2 against Everton, a hat-trick against Newcastle, the iconic free kick against Portsmouth, and would put up 10 goals in 7 games, even having a spell where he scored for 6 consecutive match weeks. Ronaldo would lead United to their 10th Premier League title and finish with 31 league goals. A huge accomplishment, but also a tribute to his determination to never stop improving. But despite how good this was, we all know that it was nothing. We've seen Henry, Salah, Shearer, and many others hit 30 goals. What they couldn't do, however, was win the Champions League. And if Ronaldo managed to do this, then this would make him clear of the rest. The first match saw him visit his old team, Sporting, and he was cold-blooded. He drew a blank against Roma in the second match, but against Kyiv, he bagged himself a brace and another one in the return fixture. He would score against Sporting again on the final group match day, to make it 5 goals in the 5 group games that he played. In the last 16, he made the difference against Lyon to send United to the quarterfinals, where he scored against Roma to help the team win on a 3-0 aggregate. The semifinals would see him go up against Messi for the first time, which was another iconic moment in the sport, considering both of them would go on to dominate world football. United would come away as 1-0 winners in that encounter, to set up a finals with Chelsea, and as expected, Ronaldo pulled up clutch, scoring United's only goal of the night. The match ended in a draw, but United would win on penalties. Cristiano finished the tournament with 8 goals, literally carrying United to the title, and he accomplished something that Henry and many other Premier League legends never accomplished. So during his time at United, we've seen Cristiano go from a young, skinny trickster to a deadly goal machine over the span of 6 years, and was named as the best player in the world 2008. Like I had said before, people often try to downplay what he did by bringing up other players, but none of those players have managed to do what Ronaldo did. At 23, Henry was good, but he wasn't close to doing what Ronaldo did at 23. But in respect to him, he had a better personal career in the Premier League, averaging 30+ goals for 5 consecutive seasons. And I'm not biased, so I'll give him that. But I still believed Cristiano was the best player the league has ever seen, based on the level he attained in 2008, because he did something nobody else did. And as for the R9 bit, I think it's just nonsense. Cristiano surpassed R9 a long time ago. But that's a topic for another video. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And I have another video on the way about Messi post 2015, so subscribe and stay tuned for that.